Y'all, this one just flipped the streets upside down. Memphis is in flames, Baton Rouge is tight-lipped, and the internet straight up paralyzed. Because just hours after dropping the most disrespectful diss of his entire career, a surprise track aimed squarely at NBA YoungBoy titled FDO, Pooh Shiesty was arrested. Yeah, you heard that right. We're talking about a track so raw, so vicious, that fans didn't even believe it was real at first. Pooh didn't hold nothing back. From alleged hits to prison rumors, from YoungBoy's baby mama to bar-for-bar accusations about industry ties, Shiesty let it all fly on FDO. No filters. No subliminals, just venom. And then, boom, police showed up. Insiders say federal agents were watching the release in real time. Minutes after the track hit SoundCloud and started trending on Twitter, blacked-out SUVs pulled up to an undisclosed studio location outside Atlanta. Shiesty was cuffed before the hook could even hit 1 million plays. Word is, he didn't even flinch. He just looked at the arresting officer and said, "Y'all late. Fans are stunned. The streets are buzzing." And YoungBoy? His response was so cold, it's got everybody wondering if this was more than music. Because now we gotta ask, did Pooh Shiesty just commit career suicide with one track, or was this a setup? Was this arrest random timing, or the result of a trap that's been in motion since the first shot was fired in this beef? And who's next? Stay locked in, because once you hear what's in the rest of this story, you'll understand why every rapper is watching their back tonight. It all started with a leak, not a diss, not a post, not even a bar. Just a voice memo 30 seconds long, muffled and low quality, shared in a group chat that spread like wildfire across the streets of Memphis and Baton Rouge. The voice, it sounded unmistakably like NBA YoungBoy. The content, disrespectful, personal. In the memo, YoungBoy allegedly refers to Pooh Shiesty as a washed-up inmate rapper, calling his buzz dead and accusing him of snitching behind steel doors. No context, no intro, just straight verbal smoke. And in the world of street rap, that kind of violation don't go unanswered. 3 hours later, Pooh Shiesty's team posted a cryptic story on his official Instagram. Black background, white text, 3 letters. FDO fans were confused. Blogs started speculating. Some thought it was a label, others guessed it was code. But behind the scenes, that acronym stood for one thing and one thing only, FDAT-OP. Because what the world didn't know was that Pooh had been quietly recording, laying low since his last court appearance, keeping his circle small and his moves smaller. He was off social. No press, no features, nothing, just waiting, watching. And when that audio leaked, it was the green light. Shiesty snapped. By midnight, the diss was live. No promo, no clearance, straight to SoundCloud. The title, FDO, the beat. Dark, grimy, stripped-down Memphis-style drums with ominous synths underneath. The energy, straight-up vengeance. From the first line, it was war. Ain't no steel door stop my stripes / you talk loud. I send that pipe / you internet. I real life wipe / your whole block sleep by night. The bars weren't just threatening, they were detailed. Fans instantly knew this wasn't generic rap beef talk. Pooh was name-dropping situations, referencing hidden tension from back when both artists were just rising out of the trenches. At one point in the second verse, Pooh says, "Told yo BM slide through / she replied back, which flight boo?" And that bar alone sent the entire internet into a spiral. It wasn't just about YoungBoy anymore. It was about violating his pride. The comments were out of control. Twitter lit up. YouTubers started going live. IG stories started flying. Even DJ Academix reposted the song with the caption, "Did Pooh just risk it all?" But the most insane part, Shiesty dropped a screenshot of a FaceTime call with a blurred-out contact name, but the person in the frame looked a lot like one of YoungBoy's closest friends, a known affiliate out of Baton Rouge. No words, just the caption, "Y'all talk too much." That's when the energy shifted. This wasn't rap anymore. This was war. Less than 2 hours after FDO went live, sources say a tip came into law enforcement. Now, nobody knows who sent it, but what we do know is that multiple unmarked federal vehicles were dispatched toward a recording studio on the outskirts of Atlanta, an address tied to Shiesty's private sessions. Eyewitnesses on the scene say they saw Pooh and 2 of his associates being detained just outside the building. No struggle, no yelling. Pooh allegedly said one thing as he was being handcuffed: "Don't worry. I left him something to listen to." Now let's pause for a second and process that. This man knew the feds might come, he knew the risks, and he still recorded, mastered, and released a diss that could very well land him in more legal trouble, all to defend his name. That's the level of ego, pride, and personal stake this beef had reached. This wasn't about streams, this was about street respect, but what made it even more twisted? Reports started surfacing that Pooh's arrest may have been strategically planned. According to industry insiders, a major Atlanta-based label executive who had previously tried to sign both artists might have tipped off law enforcement. The motive: control, power, drama equals traction. Traction equals streams, streams equal dollars, and when beef turns into breaking news, somebody always profits. Meanwhile, YoungBoy's camp stayed mostly quiet. No official statement, no diss track in response, but the silence, loud. His Instagram posted a black and white photo of him in the studio with the caption, "Famous people don't bark, we bite." Fans knew what that meant, it was code. Subtle but deadly, but the drama didn't stop with the music, because Shiesty's family jumped in. Pooh's older cousin, known in Memphis circles as OG Drape, went live on Facebook and exploded. In a 10-minute rant that got reposted everywhere, he accused certain Louisiana rappers of manipulating the system to keep Pooh locked up. He said, "Y'all scared of what the city finna be when Shiesty touched down. That's why y'all sending tip-offs and hiding behind lawyers." He even went so far as to call YoungBoy a label puppet, claiming Pooh turned down a secret $1 million offer to squash the beef privately and do a collab for streaming. Pooh said, "Nah, my face worth more than that," OG Drape claimed. Fans were shocked. Was there actually a plan to fake a peace collab? Had this whole situation been building in the shadows of the industry? Were execs trying to monetize the beef before it got out of control? And if so, had Pooh Shiesty just blown up the whole plan? All of this hit the net like a nuke. But things got even wilder when YoungBoy's baby mama, the exact one Pooh referenced in FDO, went live on IG. She didn't deny anything. She didn't confirm anything either. She just laughed. She said, "Y'all so pressed about who on my call log, worry about that case instead." Fans took it as a soft confirmation. The memes wrote themselves. Comments flew in like missiles, but this wasn't just celebrity mess. There were real consequences now. Pooh's legal team issued a brief statement, denying any criminal activity in connection to the diss, but acknowledging that Mr. Williams Pooh Shiesty was taken in for questioning related to outstanding federal interest. Translation: the feds had already been watching him. FDO was just the final straw, but what came next, nobody expected. Because less than 24 hours after Pooh's arrest, FDO hit #1 on SoundCloud. Over 4.7 million plays in under a day. Radio stations started editing the clean version. Clubs played it back-to-back in Atlanta and Memphis. A viral TikTok challenge launched using the chorus. It was undeniable. The people weren't just listening, they were backing Pooh hard. But the bigger question loomed heavy. Was he set up? And if so, who made the call? As FDO continued to dominate social media, the question of Pooh Shiesty's arrest started shifting from why to who pulled the strings. Fans were piecing together theories like detectives. One Reddit thread that gained over 20,000 upvotes in under an hour claimed that a high-ranking Louisiana law enforcement official, who allegedly had long-standing ties to NBA YoungBoy's extended family, pushed Pooh's arrest forward as a favor. The theory was wild, unproven, but it didn't stop it from blowing up. Screenshots, alleged, blurry photos of an unnamed officer at YoungBoy's cousin's birthday party. It was the kind of digital rabbit hole only rap fans can dig. But underneath all the smoke, there might have been real fire. Because just 2 days after Pooh was taken in, leaked courthouse documents showed that the arrest wasn't directly related to the diss. It stemmed from a pending federal gun charge that had allegedly been sitting on pause for months. So why now? Why drop the hammer after FDO? One attorney who spoke anonymously to a blog said, "The timing ain't just suspicious, it's strategic." Meaning, someone high up wanted Pooh silenced right now. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Pooh's team was scrambling. His management, already under stress trying to keep his name hot post-prison, was now in crisis mode. But oddly enough, Pooh himself wasn't panicking. According to a source who spoke to someone at the holding facility, Shiesty was calm, cracking jokes, acting like he knew this was part of the plan. He reportedly told another inmate, "They can lock me, but they can't stop me. I already won," and he wasn't lying. FDO was going viral across every platform. Even international press had started picking up the story. BBC ran a headline, "Rapper arrested after diss song." The war between Pooh Shiesty and NBA YoungBoy. But what nobody saw coming was YoungBoy's reaction. Because for days, the Baton Rouge rapper had been unusually quiet. No IG stories, no new songs, no lives. Fans thought he was either plotting or unbothered. But then, out of nowhere, he dropped a 2-minute voice note on his private YouTube channel. No beat, no hook, just YoungBoy speaking like a sermon. He started slow. "They want me to crash, I see it, I feel it, but I'm not crashing for no clown who got caught slipping." The tone, cold, almost surgical, he continued, "I done watched too many people get smoked 'cause of pride. Who wanna play them games, let him, I already won. I'm home, I'm feeding my kids, and I ain't worried about jail food." But it was the last line that sent chills through the culture. He wrote his verse, "I wrote my will a long time ago. Difference is I don't rap for validation, I rap because I'm already a legend." The clip blew up, comments flooded in. Some fans praised YoungBoy for keeping his composure. Others accused him of ducking the smoke, but everyone agreed. The line about writing a will hit different. It felt ominous, like the beef had crossed into irreversible territory, and if that wasn't enough to shake things up, Pooh Shiesty's sister jumped in next. Taylor Big T Williams, known for keeping a low profile, shocked everyone when she went live on Instagram and called out YoungBoy's team directly. Her voice was shaking, not out of fear, out of rage. "Y'all scared of real competition," she said. "Y'all scared because Pooh did time and still came back with more weight than your whole crew combined. You think this gon' break him? This just gon' make him bigger." She paused, then added, "Let my brother out that cage or you gon' see Memphis for what it really is." The comments went insane. Rappers, influencers, and even a few producers began chiming in. One beatmaker who previously worked with both YoungBoy and Shiesty tweeted, "Real ones know the pressure in this situation ain't just musical. That diss track touched feelings behind the scenes." Fans started speculating whether FDO included real-life details that weren't supposed to see daylight, details that made certain camps nervous. There were even whispers that one of the names briefly mentioned in the second verse of FDO, a known Baton Rouge figure, was cooperating with authorities, and the song's release might have risked exposing too much. That's when the cease and desist hit. Yup, just as FDO was climbing past 10 million streams on Spotify, Shiesty's label received a formal legal notice to remove the track. The claim? Defamatory and potentially damaging to ongoing legal proceedings. Translation: someone with power didn't want that song in the world anymore, but it was too late. Fans had already ripped it, remixed it, TikToked it, and turned it into a cultural moment. Even high school kids were rapping it at basketball games. FDO wasn't just a diss, it was a digital grenade, and YoungBoy's camp, still silent. But silence, as always in the rap world, can mean one of two things: plotting or pressure, and some insiders were now saying it was both. Because according to one source deep in Baton Rouge, YoungBoy was being advised to avoid releasing a direct response. Why? Because legal teams from multiple directions were reportedly watching the feud closely, worried that continued escalation might lead to actual violence. With Pooh locked up, any retaliatory diss from YoungBoy could be seen as incitement. It was bigger than rap now, it was legal chess. But fans, they didn't care, they wanted bars. They started digging into old freestyles, finding subliminals that may have hinted at tension between these 2 years ago. Some fans even went back to 2019 interviews where Pooh vaguely said, "Some of these NS ain't real, they industry homies but street cowards." In hindsight, fans believed it was an early shot at YoungBoy. And the internet, hungry for content, did what it does best: connect the dots, real or not. But as all this unfolded, something quietly began to build momentum: Free Pooh Shiesty. It started with tweets, then hoodies, then hashtags. Within days, dozens of influencers and rappers, some of whom had never publicly backed Pooh, began posting old videos of him freestyling, screenshots of DMS, and cryptic messages like, "Free to Menace." Even Lil Durk, who has had his own drama with YoungBoy, liked a post that said, "Pooh did what needed to be done." And then, a petition. Yes, a full petition titled "Free Pooh Shiesty, Protect Black Art" started circulating on change.org. It wasn't just fans, major hip-hop writers, XA and RS, even entertainment lawyers signed it. The argument? That Pooh was being targeted not for his actions, but for his lyrics. That FDO was proof the system still didn't know how to separate art from criminal intent. It gained over 100,000 signatures in 3 days. But while the internet was rallying behind him, Pooh sat alone. In a cell, plotting, writing. According to someone with ties to the facility, he's working on a full mixtape behind bars. Tentatively titled Inmate of the Year, the project is rumored to include voice recordings, collected verses, and even snippets recorded through phone calls. His team is allegedly preparing for a post-release drop that could change everything. But the pressure is rising, because now YoungBoy's team is being pushed to respond not just by fans but by his own crew, and if he answers, this beef could go nuclear. Just when the culture thought things had hit their boiling point, the pot boiled over, because all eyes were now on NBA YoungBoy, and the silence from his side started feeling less like strategy and more like pressure. His closest affiliate, known only online as 3 Shots, broke ranks in a surprise Twitter Spaces session late one night and spilled way more than anyone expected. His voice was half laughing, half slick talking, but his words, they landed like bullets. Man, listen, y'all don't know half of what was going on behind the scenes. That track Pooh dropped, that was personal, not just bars. He aired out something that was supposed to be dead. Dead? That one word sent fans spiraling into theory mode again. What had Pooh aired out in FDO that struck such a nerve? What was supposed to be buried? Some listeners rewound that second verse over and over, focusing on that one cryptic bar. 2020 backdoor handshake, them docs ain't ever leak / but y'all know why his cousin went ghost, he ain't street. Theorists latched onto it, claiming it referenced a sealed plea deal involving someone close to YoungBoy, possibly someone who flipped during a major Baton Rouge gun case. If that's true, Pooh had just cracked open a wound the feds hadn't even finished stitching. But it didn't stop there. A private conversation between 2 engineers leaked, voice notes shared by a clout-hungry intern trying to impress someone on Clubhouse. In the messages, one engineer claimed YoungBoy recorded a full diss track aimed at Pooh the night after FDO dropped, but the label allegedly refused to clear it. Not because of legal concerns, but because they didn't want YoungBoy's brand tangled in street beef that could spiral into something beyond music. That's when fans knew this was bigger than diss tracks. This was a war between art and industry, between reputation and paperwork, and at the center of it all, a man locked in a cell with a pen, a notepad, and nothing to lose. Pooh Shiesty had become more than a rapper again. He was now a symbol, a martyr of authenticity, someone who refused to play by the new age rap politics of silence and marketing optics. His name was becoming folklore. Young kids on TikTok were calling him the last real one. Old heads on YouTube were doing think pieces on the danger of silencing street poets. A bar from FDO was even used as the intro to a viral documentary trailer about rap censorship. Pooh's legacy, ironically, was growing faster in his absence. But here's the plot twist no one saw coming. A former YSL associate, recently released on house arrest, went live and casually dropped this grenade. All I'ma say is Pooh knew what he was doing. That arrest, that diss, that was all part of the pressure plan. He knew YB had too many legal eggs in one basket to clap back, and when you can't respond, you look weak. It was a setup. The theory, Pooh Shiesty intentionally dropped the track knowing the feds were circling him. That FDO wasn't just a diss, it was a final act of defiance before going down. A tactical move to provoke YoungBoy, then flipped the silence back on him, forcing the internet to declare a winner while he sat behind bars. It was chess, not checkers, and guess what? It worked. Even Charlemagne Thaw God jumped into the conversation on The Breakfast Club, saying, Pooh flipped the script. He gave us what we've been asking for: raw rap, no filters, real street energy. Meanwhile, the other side blinked. DJ Envy agreed, Twitter agreed, hell, even Funk Flex broke protocol and spun FDO Live on Hot 97 despite the track being under takedown threats. Meanwhile, YoungBoy's frustration started to show. 2 days after the leak about his unreleased response, his stylist posted a now-deleted IG story showing YB in the studio, pacing, visibly angry, with a blunt in one hand and what looked like a legal folder in the other. The caption, when the label tell you let it slide but you built for revenge. Even YoungBoy's longtime producer, Trez Made It, cryptically tweeted, can't put bars on wax when they use the lyrics in court. That tweet sent chills through the timeline. Was the silence really about legal censorship? Was the court system now dictating what a rapper could or couldn't say in a beef? Fans weren't having it. They demanded a response. They flooded YoungBoy's pages. Comments like free speech goes both ways and you got your op in cuffs and still scared to reply started trending. The public was turning, slowly, but undeniably, and Pooh, he just smiled. Word got out through his attorney that he was writing 2 projects from behind bars. One was the Inmate of the Year tape, the other was reportedly titled FDO 2, the sequel. And apparently, he'd already recorded the intro over a jail phone, promising to drag every snake into daylight. But as the music drama raged, something deeper was bubbling below the surface. Mental toll. Sources close to YoungBoy said he'd gone completely silent with his team, not taking calls, skipping meetings. "He's stewing," one person said. "He's always been emotional, but this one different. This ain't just beef, this about image." Because for YoungBoy, who built his brand on being unshakable, the perception that he'd been outmaneuvered by a man in cuffs was devastating. Not because Pooh won lyrically, but because he won narratively. The industry took note. Executives started shifting. A few producers who had been locked in with YoungBoy were suddenly seen liking Shiesty fan posts. And our reps were whispering about Pooh's value skyrocketing the moment he touched down. "The story's too good," one Atlantic rep allegedly said. "We can sell pain, we can sell redemption, but this is myth-making." And speaking of myth-making, an unreleased video allegedly connected to FDO was now at the center of a bidding war. According to reports, Pooh's team had shot a full visual for FDO the week before his arrest. Low-budget, grimy Memphis backstreets, heavy symbolism. The footage was confiscated during the arrest raid, but a copy reportedly exists, and multiple hip-hop blogs are offering 5 to 6 figures to host the exclusive drop. "It's rap's Black Album moment," one blogger tweeted. "You drop that video, the game changes again." But the final twist, someone from YoungBoy's family just flipped the script again. In a shocking IG Live, his own half-brother went on a rant defending Pooh Shiesty. "Y'all trying to act like Pooh the villain, but he just said what everybody else too scared to say," he said. "I told YB don't let no label control his smoke. If he got bars, drop 'em. If not, don't blame the jailhouse." The live went viral. It wasn't just about rap beef anymore. This had become a cultural conversation about freedom, fear, and the future of real street rap. And with Pooh sitting silent and YoungBoy stuck between bars and lawyers, the entire industry was watching, waiting for the next move. Because everyone knows, one word from either side could spark something no PR team can clean up. Just when everyone thought it couldn't get any deeper, darker, or more out of control, it did. The rap world was holding its breath, waiting for NBA YoungBoy to drop a diss or for Pooh Shiesty to speak out from behind bars. But instead, something else dropped, a federal document leak. Out of nowhere, a 4-page PDF started circulating across Twitter, Reddit, and private Discord channels. The source was unknown, but the content? Allegedly explosive. The document, stamped and dated, revealed that Pooh Shiesty's arrest had been expedited based on new surveillance audio flagged by a third-party civilian witness. It was that phrase, civilian witness, that sent shockwaves through the fanbase. Who was it? How did they know about Pooh's studio location? And why was that night, the exact night FDO dropped, the one time law enforcement moved with such urgency? That's when speculation turned deadly serious. Because a few quiet voices on the internet, real ones from the streets, started whispering that someone in Pooh's own circle set him up. The theory, that a longtime associate known only as Fino had been wearing wires or leaking info to avoid a different sentence. He had been close to Pooh during the studio sessions. He'd even posted behind-the-scenes clips days before the arrest, which fans now realized pinpointed the exact studio location. Within hours, number Fino started trending. One Memphis-based fan posted a photo of Fino and captioned it, "The snake always eats with you before it bites." The betrayal was real, and it was devastating. Pooh's team issued a rare statement from behind bars confirming that an investigation into a possible breach in protocol was underway. His lawyer didn't name names, but the wording was clear. "We are aware of alleged internal compromise and are treating it seriously." This wasn't a label issue. This was real betrayal, the kind that leaves a man sitting in a cell with more anger than anyone could rap out in a lifetime. Meanwhile, Pooh's fans were getting louder. The number Free Pooh Shiesty petition crossed 250,000 signatures. Independent clothing brands were printing shirts with his mugshot and the phrase, "He rapped the truth and they got scared." A major Atlanta mural artist painted a tribute to Pooh on a brick wall with a giant quote from FDO. "They hate when you spit facts, love when you stay silent." The streets weren't just supporting him, they were elevating him. But while the legend of Pooh Shiesty was growing, NBA YoungBoy's silence was starting to crack. He posted a cryptic clip to his close friend's Instagram story. Just 6 seconds, him sitting in a dark room watching an old YouTube clip of Pooh freestyling as a teenager. No caption, no commentary, just him watching. Fans who saw the story immediately started speculating, was it respect? Was it mourning what their brotherhood used to be? Or was it just a calm before the storm? Because the very next day, YoungBoy finally responded. Not with a diss, not with a tweet, but with a surprise feature. That's right. NBA YoungBoy appeared on a brand new track with an unexpected artist, 21 Savage. The song was called Cold Seats and had zero promo. It dropped at midnight and immediately trended. The beat was eerie, the hook simple, but it was YoungBoy's verse that stole the internet. You ever been loved then hated by the same ones? Slash seen the op locked up and still feel unsafe. Sun slash they free when they talk. I be silent with fate slash he rapped from a cage, but I bend every gate. The bars were surgical. YoungBoy didn't say Pooh's name, but he didn't have to. The message was crystal. He was still on top, still untouched, still king silence. But while his verse impressed the critics, the streets didn't love it. Fans started posting side-by-side comparisons. YoungBoy's cold, calculated response versus Pooh's raw, emotional explosion. A viral post read, one man rapped like he had something to prove. The other rapped like he had something to protect. Slowly, the narrative started to shift, not just musically, but morally. People began seeing Pooh as the underdog, the wounded lion. The one who put everything on the line and paid the price. And YoungBoy, he started looking like the safe rapper. The one who got lawyers before he got bars. The one who played chess while Pooh played Russian roulette with his freedom. But just when it looked like the world was picking sides, everything changed. Because Pooh Shiesty dropped a jail freestyle. Through a recorded phone call, edited into a beat by his team and uploaded to YouTube, the track was titled FDO, The Call. It opened with the sound of prison doors slamming. Then came Pooh's voice, clear, emotional, calm, but filled with rage. He watchin' YouTube, I'm watchin' my backslash he in the studio, I'm in shackles but never lack slash I dropped a track and they dropped a dime slash now I'm in the cell but he's still scared to rhyme. The freestyle sent the culture into orbit. Number FDO, The Call trended #1 within an hour. Thousands of reaction videos dropped. TikTok creators used the audio for skits, storytelling, and real-life testimonies about betrayal. Even high-profile rappers who had stayed out of the beef like Meek Mill and Boosie started posting subtle shoutouts. Free game, free pain, free Pooh, Boosie tweeted. But behind all the noise, something was shifting in YoungBoy. Because no matter how rich, how powerful, or how composed he appeared, sources close to him say he was internally spiraling. The weight of public opinion, the backlash from fans. The narrative that his silence was cowardice. It all started to eat at him. For the first time in a long time, NBA YoungBoy felt cornered, and not by an op with a gun, but by an image he could no longer control. Then came the final twist. Audio leaked. Someone, maybe that same engineer, maybe Fino, maybe another snake, leaked a phone call between Pooh and a major artist. The voice on the other end, Kodak Black. In the call, Kodak tells Pooh, you know you won, right? Ain't no bar gonna hit harder than your silence. He's scared to talk, you made him mute. Don't even drop no sequel, just let him wonder. The call ended with Pooh laughing low, broken, but still in control. That laugh, it echoed across the internet. People posted it as a ringtone. DJs looped it in club mixes. Memes called it the laugh that shut down YoungBoy. And just like that, the game changed again. Because Pooh Shiesty may be locked up, but somehow he was the one who left NBA YoungBoy speechless. And in hip-hop, that's the loudest victory of all. So now the smoke's settled kinda, and the whole world's left staring at the ashes. What started as a diss track turned into a federal takedown, a betrayal from inside the circle, and a war of silence versus soul. Pooh Shiesty, locked behind bars, somehow dropped the most impactful track of the year. And NBA YoungBoy, one of the most feared voices in the game, was left answering questions with feature verses instead of fists. But what does it all really mean? Was Pooh set up by someone in his own crew, or was this always the system's way of clipping the wings of anyone too real, too raw, too unfiltered? Did YoungBoy choose wisdom, or did he fold under the pressure of a lyrical war he never expected to lose? And if Pooh touched the culture that hard from a cell, what happens when he gets out? These aren't just rap questions. These are street questions, legacy questions. And now we gotta ask you, the fans, the culture, the community, who really came out on top, who held their ground, and who ran from the smoke. Drop your take in the comments below. Is FDO the realest diss track since Back to Back? Or did Pooh go too far, too fast, and play himself into a cell? Hit that like button if you believe rap beef should still mean something. Subscribe if you're tired of industry chess and want that raw emotion, that uncut pain, that real energy back in the game. And don't forget to hit the bell icon. we've got more exclusives, unheard stories, and industry confessions dropping that they don't want you to hear. Because in this game, the silence is always temporary, and the next shot could already be loading. Stay dangerous, stay tuned.